Last time we revisited the last of my Dan's Dinosaurs line models, the Ankylosaurus. There is, however, one final model that I got from Dan that I've never ever reviewed before. The David Krentz Saurozoic Collection Spinosaurus. Now, David Krentz, of course, is one of the OGs of paleoart. I've reviewed this little 172 T-Rex, and I'm delighted to have a fuller size model from him, and finished by the always amazing Martin Garratt. Now, this is an older model before the aquatic vision of Spinosaurus gained widespread recognition, so I'll just review this model on its own merits. I will, however, say that there are still many people who don't subscribe to the Ibrahim reconstruction, with a significant number of people still proposing a bipedal possibility. And right away, it has a presence, as a lot of these 1/40th scale Spinosauruses do. Now, this model is 33 centimeters, 13 whopping inches long, and it's a 1/40th scale model. Compare that to my Carnegie 1/40th, also one of my favorite Spinosaurus models, and you can see that the lengths are comparable. Now, Spinosaurus is of course poorly known, so much of its anatomy have been filled in with other Spinosaurids. We'll go straight to the head. Now, the head is a beauty. You see the now well-known shape. From the lateral view, you see the slender jaws and the margin, including that subnarial gap. And the shape is very close in the dorsal view as well. Then, of course, there's the nasal crest, said to be comb-shaped and fluted, according to Dalsasu et al. 2005. Now look at these teeth. Now, even at this small size, they're so well painted, with just a hint of fading. And then the gloss applied over that for a wet look. Look at the continuation down the neck, the detail, like the scales, the folds and the veins in the throat area, a living replica. Now, the sail. Now here it lacks the M shape we see so often today, and unusually it extends down into the tail. Now, again, the shape of the Spinosaurus sail is by no means certain. As you can see in Emily Stepp's work here, there are a variety of interpretations. Dr. Scott Hartmann makes the tongue-in-cheek point that as long as you keep the last and the first few neural spines constant, you can pretty much fill in the rest according to your whim and fancy. Although in his seriousness, this is what he's done for 2020. And speaking of Dr. Hartmann, I actually like the fact that this seems based more along the lines of his 2012 reconstruction of Spinosaurus here, with that sail extended all the way down. The detail on this is really quite insane. From the jagged edge of the sail down into the main part. Look at all the tiny scales here. The paint application fades from the top to the bottom. Just look at these transitions across. Really love the naturalistic appearance of that. I only regret that I wasn't that adventurous back in those days. There are so many color and pattern schemes I could have asked for. For example, this old favorite of mine from Louis Ray. This one by Bob Nichols, also very nice. And of course, we all know David Bonadonna's iconic Spinosaurus paintings by now. Moving down, we go into the body. And man, the scales. Look at how tiny these are. With these creases and veins that are so realistic on even this 1/40th scale. Not to mention again the color transitions from dorsal to ventral. And just this ventral portion here is especially beautifully done in this very light color here. And then it goes into the tail here. This very subtle stripe is what Martin Garratt does so well, as we saw in the Diabloceratops, and just looks like subcutaneous pigment. And I think going into the neck region here is really cool. Again, just look at that detail. And going down the legs, I'm sure you can see for yourself that detail complemented with a masterful paint application. Likewise here down these arms, hands, and of course the claws, including that enlarged thumb claw. All of it masterfully painted. So in general, you can see that even though this isn't a garish dinosaur with only a few earthy tones, when you get up close, you can see how complex the paint application really is, and that's so wonderful. Now, the base isn't as intricately detailed as the one from the Dan's Dinosaurs line, in my opinion. Yes, it is a different locale. I imagine a sandy bank of some coastal sea, but I feel some texturing could have been done. But still, there are very nice details, like these fish bones and barnacles, which are a further nod to a wading, if not partially aquatic lifestyle. Now, most surprising for me is that this Spinosaurus actually stands very well on its two legs on its base, and I've actually had this a few years now, so there's some very clever balance in the design. Unfortunately, this model is no longer available, so I'm glad I have it and that you could at least get to see it. This is the most pleasing model I have of the bipedal Spinosaurus, and the first elevation above my previous favorite, this still very nice Carnegie. And this one itself has a history and special place in my heart. So that brings me to the end of this series of the dinosaur models that I got from Dan's Dinosaurs. Do go check out his website, drop him a note, and if you have your own favorite from his shop, I'd love to see a review or a photo of it. Right, next time I think it's high time for a dragon. So I'll see you soon in that review.